Gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Pocan, is recognized for the purpose of an amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an amendment at the desk, and I ask that it be considered read.
Without objection, the reading of the amendment is dispensed with, and the gentleman is recognized for remarks on his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an amendment that's about ethics and the scrupulous use of taxpayer dollars and making sure that we don't have any unethical behavior of those taxpayer dollars. As you know, some poorly run third world countries and dictatorships, whoever's in charge finds a way to make money while they're in charge. And being the president of the United States should not be a get-rich-quick scheme. This amendment would simply say that it would prohibit any funding from being used to support programs that would financially benefit any organization owned by the president, a partner of an organization owned by the president, or any commercial entity that the president or the president's immediate family have a financial interest in. It also prevents funding from being used for any Department of State sponsored events that would be held at a property owned by the president. Now, it may seem that that shouldn't be even necessary, but unfortunately, it is necessary, and this would be good to have in place for any president to make sure that we're using taxpayer dollars wisely. But there's three major areas that we have some problems with right now. One, when we have foreign government officials visit. Back in 2017, when Xi Jinping visited, the State Department was charged $30,000 for just 4 days at a Trump property, and that was for the then Secretary Rex Tillerson and other VIPs that were put up in luxury suites. Just in the first 10 months of this term, foreign government officials from 10 countries have made 19 visits to Trump properties. And those foreign officials, they came, it often seems to ingratiate themselves with the president, but then we're also paying for the extra security and other folks that have to be at these properties. 4 presidents of countries came to Trump properties so far this year, and they often come with a delegation, and all those rooms then are something that we're paying. So the first really argument is that, you know, these foreign government visits, we shouldn't as taxpayers then be paying to a Trump entity. Second, the commercial real estate dealings of whoever is president. During Donald Trump's first term, he pledged not to engage in any real estate development projects in foreign countries, but he didn't do that in this presidency. And right now he is pursuing 21 foreign real estate development projects, including in Oman, Saudi Arabia, India, Turkey, Vietnam, and the UAE. In Vietnam, the real estate project is $1.5 billion golf course deal that is struck about a month before a trade deal was struck. And again, not saying that there's a correlation to the two dots and the very straight path that goes between them, but certainly that could be a potential abuse by any president of being able to do that. And third, events. You may remember in 2019, Donald Trump announced that he planned to host the 2020 G7 at his Doral Golf Resort in Florida. He got a lot of backlash for that, and ultimately didn't do it. But we are scheduled to host the G20 next year and the G7 in 2027. And given how we've seen some things different in this presidency than the last presidency, it wouldn't be wise to have something at a facility where the president's going to directly profit. Look, we all have, there's a reason why we can't have federal contracts as members of Congress, et cetera. But it also should apply when it comes to these sorts of things to make sure that people know that we are running the most ethical government possible. I think it just makes sense to make sure that we're protecting the taxpayers from any potential abuse. This amendment would do that, and I would urge your support, and I thank you for your attention to this matter. I yield back.
Thank the gentleman. The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Díaz-Balart, is recognized to address the amendment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I rise in opposition to the gentleman's amendment. Look, I don't really think this is a serious attempt to do anything other but to score political points. I do agree with some of the things he said about we should be running the most ethical government. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we haven't had cocaine in the White House in this administration. I'll tell you what, there hasn't been a pardon of his son for acts that were committed either, during the presidency or before. So I can tell you right now, it's a hell of a lot more ethical than it was in the last 4 years. But let me get to the subject at hand. No, I know. I guess it's okay to have cocaine in the White House, but I don't agree with that. So let me just tell you why I agree that obviously, and I think all of us agree that no public office should be abused for personal gain. Now, that is consistent, by the way, with the United States Constitution, current law, and this bill. Now, do I think that we should tie the hands of those in the procurement or planning process who are tasked with determining the most efficient, proximate, and cost-effective venues and itineraries with a blanket prohibition that might not make any sense under those circumstances? Look, I get it. Some folks, doesn't matter what the president will do, or will impugn his intentions no matter what. But let's apply some common sense here. And let's allow some flexibility here. Now, that said, this amendment does not achieve what the gentleman claims it does. Instead, this amendment ensures that we return to a weak and defunct foreign policy that leaves Americans behind. Now, you might be wondering what I mean, but just read the text. If you believe that rising tides raise all boats, then all Americans, by the way, including the president and others, will benefit from programs funded in this bill. So again, I don't think that that's what the gentleman's intention was, but the intent was. But again, I just have to strongly oppose this amendment. And Mr. Chairman, with that, I yield back.
Thank you, gentlemen. The gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Frankel, is recognized to address the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in support of this amendment, and I thank my colleague, Mark Pocan from Wisconsin, for offering it. Now, don't get me started on the pardons, okay? Because someone who's the president now pardoned 1,400 people who attacked those of us in this Capitol. But anyway, I diverge. Presidents typically divest from their businesses or to put them in blind trust, to avoid conflicts. And President Trump has not followed the norm in so many ways, including some financial benefit. And listen, the country is running at a deficit. We heard that many times today. But I can tell you this, the president's not running at a deficit. There were reports that he has earned over $600 million since coming into office. Media rights, merchandise, real estate. He's got the crypto tokens, the watches, the real estate deals you talked about around the country, around the world. So if the president doesn't want to protect himself from conflicts of interest, we must protect the taxpayer funds. So I thank you, Mr. Pocan. I support this amendment, and I yield back.
Thank you, gentlelady. Are there other members wishing to address the amendment? Gentleman from Maryland is recognized to address the amendment.
Plan on getting on this one either, but the chairman's comments, I couldn't pass it up. I mean, just the past few weeks, we saw, I think his name's Justin Sun, and this is a crypto guy from China, no less, who has or had the SEC pursuing fraud charges against him. He gave, I think it was $40 million right after Trump was elected, and then $35 million in crypto right at the inaugural. And miraculously, the SEC fraud charges were frozen, so they're not moving forward anymore. By the way, shortly after that, President Trump had an auction, essentially, to see who would go spend enough to meet him for dinner. And Mr. Sun won that one too. I believe they haven't disclosed that amount, but the understanding is it was around $22 million in crypto. And that's just for the ones that we know about. And, so I take your point about cocaine in the White House, although President Biden didn't have anything to do with that, but I guess you got to go after him for something, so maybe that's the one to go after. But if we're talking about money that's going to a president, there's been nothing like Trump. Even Nixon didn't hold a candle to what Trump's done just in the first 6 months. And that's not even going through WLFI and all of the additional funds that are coming through using crypto in that way too. And then just from Trump 1, we recall, all of a sudden everybody's having these events at Trump Tower hotels. The Secret Service is going because he's having them use his hotels. Guess what? Instead of just paying a regular government rate, the money goes to the Trump family, as opposed to just letting him go to Holiday Inn or whatever else that would be. Now, we'll assume that this isn't direct corruption, but the appearance is a problem. The optics are horrific. And this isn't a great time for the American people to be seeing this sort of thing where the president is making money faster than, I don't know, 99% of most of the private sector. I certainly don't recall getting $75 million for really having done nothing in the way that he did. And I won't even go too far on the settlement issues, too, with respect to the $16 million from the media companies he's been going after and wrestling these settlements amounts, in part leveraging the power of regulatory agencies like the FCC to pressure for that. So, look, let's not act like Mr. Trump is purer than Caesar's wife. I didn't really need to go too far on this, but this is pretty obvious stuff. So the amendment that's been offered, I think, is not unreasonable by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, this is the kind of stuff that presidents used to do just as a matter of course. You had stocks, you got a blind trust. I mean, it was just routine stuff. You're running for office, you put up your personal income taxes so the public can review it. That's all changed now in the Trump era, I get it. So if we want to have any kind of responsibility and public transparency, the only way to do it apparently is going to have to be through legislation. So I support this amendment, and I'll urge my colleagues to do the same.
Thank the gentleman. Are there other members wishing to comment on the amendment? Gentlelady from Ohio is recognized to address the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate Congressman Pocan offering this amendment, which I support. And just to remind everyone and the people who might be listening, the Pocan Amendment prohibits funds from financially benefiting the president and president's family and events being held at Trump properties. This amendment is needed to ensure no events sponsored by the Department of State can be held at a property owned by the president, and none of the funds made available by this act or prior acts may be made available to support a program that would financially benefit an organization owned by the president or partner of an organization owned by the president or any commercial entity in which the president or the president's immediate family has a financial interest. All right, this is in everyone's interest, the American people's interest. They work hard, they pay their taxes, they expect that their money will go toward making our country better, not being used to pivot or pad the pockets of any president or his family. They already own gold-encrusted objects, including hotels, beachfront golf resorts, crypto coins, tennis shoes, that was a new one, franchising his last name into a brand. Okay, so there's a lot going on there that should have nothing to do with the presidency of our country. This bill gives the president sweeping authority, the underlying bill, to spend public money however he sees fit to do it, including at his own properties, because it creates a $1.7 billion account called the America First Opportunity Fund. I wonder if it's even legal to use the term America First. Anyway, allowing the president to call the shots without meaningful guardrails or clear oversight. We've seen how that power can be abused. When President Trump was last in office, he hosted foreign leaders at Mar-a-Lago and charged the Secret Service to stay there. He charged them a lot. He held official events at his Washington, D.C. hotel, which he's now sold, where foreign governments paid premium rates while pushing their agendas, and he even tried to host the G7 summit at his own resort in Doral. That wasn't diplomacy. That was a billionaire abusing public office to boost and promote his own business interests. Now we're staring down another presidential account with vague goals and broad reach. The fund can be used, and I quote, to promote prosperity, or, I quote, counter threats. What does that mean? It could mean anything. It could mean booking a diplomatic summit at a golf course the president profits from, or it could mean a crypto conference. And the funding? It's quietly pulled from other programs, even as the bill claims those programs are being increased. For example, money meant for narcotics control is being diverted into this new slush fund. That's not transparent, that's not honest, and it's certainly not trustworthy. Public service requires personal restraint. You know, some of our compadres have trouble with that, but it comes with the territory. If you want to make money, go in the private sector. There's plenty of opportunity. George Washington refused to use his role for personal gain. When first elected, he declined a salary until Congress insisted. He often paid government expenses out of his own pocket, setting a precedent that public office is about service, not profit. Jimmy Carter placed his peanut farm into a fully independent blind trust to avoid even the appearance of a conflict of interest. He chose principle over profit. He will go down as a great president. George H.W. Bush turned down lucrative speaking offers and foreign board seats while still in office, and Harry Truman said it best, quote, "The presidency is not for sale." This bill enables the wealthy and well-connected to profit off public office while working families foot the bill. That's not public service. It's private enrichment disguised as diplomacy. The State Department should serve the people, not promote the president's brand, and I urge my colleagues to protect taxpayers, uphold the Constitution, and reject any attempt to turn government into a playground for billionaires. I yield back. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlelady. Are there other members wishing to address the amendment? Seeing none, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute to close.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate what Mr. Ivey said. He's right. I mean, this used to be pro forma, right? We didn't have to worry about someone doing this. I would support this for a Democratic president, Republican president, whatever future political party, because it's in our best interest not to have that conflict of interest. And, when we have the FSGG, we'll probably have an amendment on the cryptocurrency. I thought Ms. Perez's questions at a subcommittee about that was particularly interesting when they said they're regulated like a collectible, and she replied like Beanie Babies. And that was the reality. So we'll deal with that amendment later, like tomorrow we'll deal with the Epstein amendments. But today, this is the amendment to make sure that we're having integrity by not having any president profit from their own properties. And again, it always was just done. We wouldn't have to even have an amendment, but I guess for the future, we should have this so that regardless of who's president, we're doing the right thing. I yield back, urge a yes vote, and I yield back, Mr. Chair.
Thank the gentleman. The question is now on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Wisconsin. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The opinion of the chair, the noes have it. Roll call has been requested. Sufficient number of hands have been raised. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Adderholt. Mr. Adderholt, no. Mr. Aguilar. Mr. Alford. Mr. Amadei. Mr. Amadei, no. Mrs. Bice. Mrs. Bice, no. Mr. Bishop. Mr. Bishop, aye. Mr. Calvert. Mr. Calvert, no. Mr. Carter. Mr. Case. Mr. Case, aye. Mr. Siscomani. Mr. Klein. Mr. Cloud. Mr. Cloud, no. Mr. Clyburn. Mr. Clyburn, aye. Mr. Clyde. Mr. Clyde, no. Mr. Cole.
No.
Mr. Cole, no. Mr. Cuellar. Ms. Dean. Ms. Dean, aye. Ms. DeLauro. Mr. Díaz-Balart. Mr. Díaz-Balart, no. Mr. Edwards. Mr. Edwards, no. Mr. Elzey. Mr. Elzey, no. Ms. Escobar. Ms. Escobar, aye. Mr. Espaillat. Mr. Espaillat, aye. Mr. Fleischman. Ms. Frankel. Ms. Frankel, aye. Mr. Franklin. Mr. Franklin, no. Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez, no. Mr. Guest. Mr. Guest, no. Mr. Harder. Mr. Harder, aye. Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris, no. Mrs. Henson. Mrs. Henson, no. Mr. Hoyer. Mr. Hoyer, aye. Mr. Ivey. Mr. Ivy? Aye. Mr. Joyce? Mr. Joyce? No. Ms. Capter? Ms. Capter? Aye. Mr. Lalota? Mr. Lalota? No. Ms. Lee? Ms. Lee? Aye. Ms. Letlow? Ms. Letlow? No. Mr. Levin? Mr. Levin? Aye. Ms. Malloy? Ms. Malloy? No. Ms. McCullum? Ms. McCullum? Aye. Ms. Ming? Ms. Ming? Aye. Mr. Molinar? Mr. Molinar? No. Mr. Moore? Mr. Morelli? Mr. Morelli? Aye. Mr. Mervan? Mr. Mervan? Aye. Mr. Newhouse? Mr. Newhouse? No. Ms. Perez? Ms. Perez? Aye. Ms. Pingree? Ms. Pingree? Aye. Mr. Pocan? Mr. Pocan? Aye. Mr. Quigley? Mr. Quigley? Aye. Mr. Reschenthaler? Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers? No. Mr. Rutherford? Mr. Rutherford? No. Mr. Simpson? Mr. Simpson? No. Mr. Strong? Mr. Strong? No. Mrs. Torres? Mrs. Torres? Aye. Miss Underwood? Miss Underwood? Aye. Mr. Valadeo? Ms. Wasserman Schultz? Mrs. Watson Coleman? Mrs. Watson Coleman? Aye. Mr. Womack? Mr. Womack? No. Mr. Zinke? Mr. Zinke? No.
Any member wishing to record their vote or change their vote? Gentleman from Arizona?
Mr. Siscomani? No.
Gentleman from Virginia?
Mr. Klein? No.
Gentleman from Tennessee?
Mr. Fleischman? No.
Gentleman from Texas?
Mr. Carter? No.
Gentleman from California?
Mr. Aguilar? Aye.
Gentlelady from Connecticut?
Mr. Loro? Aye.
Are there any others wishing to record or change their amendment? Gentleman from West Virginia?
Mr. Moore? No.
Gentlelady from Florida? A gentlelady is not recorded.
Ms. Wasserman Schultz? Aye.
Are there any other members wishing to record or change their vote? Seeing none, the clerk will tally. On this vote, the ayes are 27, the noes are 32. The amendment is not adopted. The gentlelady from New Jersey, Ms. Watson Coleman, is recognized for the purpose of an amendment. The gentlelady from New Jersey is recognized for the purpose of an amendment.
Chairman, I do have an amendment at the desk, and I request unanimous consent to dispense with the reading of this amendment.
Without objection, the reading of the amendment is dispensed with. The gentlelady is recognized for remarks on her amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My amendment would transfer $250 million from the United States Emergency Refugee and Migration Assistance Fund, IRMA, to the International Humanitarian Assistance account. Now, I understand that this may seem like a distinction without a difference, but there's a very big difference between these two accounts. We're just not moving from our checking account to our savings account here. The IRMA account is controlled directly by the president. It's been this way for years. Presidents from both parties have had control over it with a $100,000 price tag since 2021, which hasn't increased since. But this bill does increase the funding for the IRMA account under the direct control of their president by $500 million, in fact. At the same time, it consolidates several other funding foreign aid accounts under the IHA, that's the International Humanitarian Assistance account, and then slashes their aid by 42%. The key difference between the IRMA and the IHA is that the latter is not directly controlled by the president. It's a nonpartisan fund for humanitarian foreign aid. My amendment takes half of the funding increase for the president's direct control account and puts it into the nonpartisan aid fund to offset some of the dramatic cuts that are included in this bill for humanitarian assistance. I'd like to point out for my Republican colleagues that this amendment does not add a penny to the top line of this bill. I know you all have been really concerned about this week, but rest assured, this amendment is paid for. My main concern with such a large increase in the funding for an account that this president has immediate discretion over is that it's ripe for abuse. It's not hard to imagine a situation in which this president would be making decisions based on his own personal interests, which we've already seen take place since he's been in office since January. The only interest that should be considered when distributing aid is the interest of the recipient, not the distributor. The IRMA fund politicizes humanitarian aid while the IHA takes politics out of the equation. Aid assistance must be distributed on a nonpartisan basis by State Department experts who can identify people and countries in need, independent of personal influence. So I ask my colleagues to support this amendment and to ensure that foreign aid is distributed based on objective need and not based on personal preference. I thank you for your consideration, and I yield back.
Thank the gentlelady. The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Díaz-Balart, is recognized to respond to the amendment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I rise in opposition of the gentlewoman's amendment. As she described, it simply moves $250 million from one humanitarian account to another. The International Humanitarian Assistance Account has sufficient funds to provide Secretary Rubio with the resources to continue the longstanding leadership of the United States in delivering life-saving assistance to individuals and families who are displaced or in need of help due to natural disasters, conflict, religious, and ethnic persecution. The IRMA account is already below the amount requested in the fiscal year 2026 budget. Additionally, the bill includes authority for the administration to transfer funds from the United States Emergency Refugee and Migration Fund account to the International Humanitarian Assistance account if it chooses to do so again. So again, for those reasons, I respectfully urge my colleagues to oppose the amendment. I yield back.
Thank the gentleman. The gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Frankel, is recognized to address the amendment.
Thank you. I don't know what I support this amendment. I don't know whether to be serious or sarcastic because really, let's get serious here. I don't think Donald Trump is going to be known as a great humanitarian. And quite frankly, we'll be doing him a favor, give him a little more time to sell the crypto and the real estate deals and so forth, and let serious people do the serious business of humanitarian support for people who need it. And I yield back.
I thank gentlelady. Are there other members wishing to address the amendment? Seeing none, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute to close.
And improve upon my ranking member's comments. No one's going to ever believe that Donald Trump will ever be a humanitarian unless the humanitarian recipient is Donald Trump and his family. And so I very much would appreciate my colleagues to see that this is an opportunity to ensure that humanitarian aid gets to the areas of this country where it is needed and not in the pockets of the president, his family, and his friends. Amen. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank the gentlelady. The question is now on the amendment offered by the gentlelady from New Jersey. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Opinion of the chair, the noes have it. Roll call has been requested. Sufficient number of hands have been raised. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Adderholt. Mr. Aguilar. Mr. Aguilar, aye. Mr. Alford. Mr. Alford, no. Mr. Amade. Mrs. Bice. Mrs. Bice, no. Mr. Bishop. Mr. Bishop, aye. Mr. Calvert. Mr. Calvert, no. Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter, no. Mr. Case. Mr. Case, aye. Mr. Siscomani. Mr. Siscomani, no. Mr. Klein. Mr. Cloud. Mr. Cloud, no. Mr. Clyburn. Mr. Clyburn, aye. Mr. Clyde. Mr. Clyde, no. Mr. Cole.
No.
Mr. Cole, no. Mr. Cuellar. Mr. Cuellar, aye. Ms. Dean. Ms. Dean, aye. Mr. Loro. Mr. Loro, aye. Mr. Diaz-Balart. Mr. Diaz-Balart, no. Mr. Edwards. Mr. Edwards, no. Mr. Elzey. Ms. Escobar. Ms. Escobar, aye. Mr. Espaillat. Mr. Espaillat, aye. Mr. Fleischman. Mr. Fleischman, no. Ms. Frankel. Ms. Frankel, aye. Mr. Franklin. Mr. Franklin, no. Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Guest. Mr. Guest, no. Mr. Harder. Mr. Harder, aye. Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris, no. Mrs. Hinson. Mrs. Hinson, no. Mr. Hoyer. Mr. Hoyer, aye. Mr. Ivy. Mr. Ivy, aye. Mr. Joyce. Mr. Joyce, no. Ms. Capter. Ms. Capter, aye. Mr. Lalota. Mr. Lalota, no. Ms. Lee. Ms. Lee, aye. Ms. Letlow. Ms. Letlow, no. Mr. Levin. Mr. Levin, aye. Ms. Malloy. Ms. Malloy, no. Ms. McCullum. Ms. McCullum, aye. Ms. Ming. Ms. Ming, aye. Mr. Molinar. Mr. Molinar, no. Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, no. Mr. Morelli. Mr. Morelli, aye. Mr. Mervan. Mr. Mervan, aye. Mr. Newhouse. Mr. Newhouse, no. Ms. Perez. Ms. Perez, aye. Ms. Pingree. Ms. Pingree, aye. Mr. Pocan. Mr. Pocan, aye. Mr. Quigley. Mr. Quigley, aye. Mr. Reschenthaler. Mr. Reschenthaler, no. Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, no. Mr. Rutherford. Mr. Rutherford, no. Mr. Simpson. Mr. Simpson, no. Mr. Strong. Mr. Strong, no. Mrs. Torres. Mrs. Torres, aye. Miss Underwood. Miss Underwood, aye. Mr. Valadeo. Ms. Wasserman Schultz. Ms. Wasserman Schultz, aye. Mrs. Watson Coleman. Mrs. Watson Coleman, aye. Mr. Womack. Mr. Womack, no. Mr. Zinke. Mr. Zinke, no.
Do any members wish to record or change their votes? The gentleman from Alabama,
Mr. Adderholt, no.
gentleman from Texas,
Mr. Elzey, no.
the other gentleman from Texas,
Mr. Gonzalez, no.
gentleman from Virginia,
Mr. Klein, no.
gentleman from California,
Mr. Valadeo, no.
Are there others wishing to record or change their votes? Seeing none, the clerk will tally. On this vote, the ayes are 28, the noes are 34. The amendment is not adopted.